This is day 21 of communicating with ChatGPT. So let's spin her up. Evening, ChatGPT.
Hey Nock, how's it going?
Uh, Today I spent time doing worthless things. But anyway, talking to you is is an useful thing for me to practice my communication. Today I want to practice pause before answering. So can you do me some suggestion and do the role play with me?
Sure thing. We can definitely do a role play to help you practice pausing before you respond. Do you have any specific scenarios in mind, or should we just start with a general conversation?
Let's say when I receive complex question or when I receive some question in the interview session and I didn't know the answer, but um, I also reflect the very quickly. So it so that my answer wasn't thoroughly enough. So I just want to deal with it by pausing and organizing my thoughts before giving my answer.
Got it. So we'll focus on scenarios where you get a tricky question. Let's say you're asked, how would you handle a situation where a data pipeline fails during peak hours? Before you answer, take a moment to gather your thoughts. Ready to give it a try?
Okay, so data pipeline fail during peak hour happens quite common, and to deal with it, first there are two scenario here. One, we can solve it short term by by increasing the worker type or the number of worker, and essentially we are scaling them manually to fix those data pipelines. And for the long-term solution, we might want to consider using auto-scale uh, approaches or even um, optimize the data pipeline so it can it will works.
Nice job. You gave a solid answer. Let's work on adding a bit more pause between your main points. For example, after mentioning the short term solution, pause for a second, then move on to the long term one. This helps structure your response and gives you a moment to gather your thoughts. Ready to try again?
Yes.
Awesome. Let's do it. I'll ask the same question. How would you handle a situation where a data pipeline fails during peak hours? Remember to pause after each point. Go for it.
Data pipeline fails during peak hour happen commonly, and because of the volume of the data. So we have two ways of solving this. First is a short-term solution. We would want to manually increase the number of workers or the worker type, and build and use more beefy machines to handle that volume of data. The second approach is a long-term one where we can um, optimize our data pipeline using some Spark optimization techniques, and also set up auto scale machines so that the data will uh, reliable and resilient during peak hours.
That was much better. The pauses really helped with clarity. You explained both solutions well. Just remember to keep your tone steady and confident. Overall, you're on the right track.
Yes, I'm ready for the next question.
Great, here's another one. Can you describe a time when you had to troubleshoot a complex issue in a data pipeline? Remember to pause and think before you respond. Whenever you're ready.
So there was a time I have to optimize a job in the data pipeline because the job took too long and it affects others downstream job. So essentially, mm, that job join between one fact table with 20 other dimensional tables, and I optimize those by building